Hey, and welcome to the 8th episode of the Brew Review. And yes, I said Brew Review.
We've got a new name.
Not Beer Review, Brew Review. Yes, we do have a new name. We thought it sounded a bit snazzier. So we are now officially Food at the Trough's Brew Review. And this is our 8th episode, as I said. We actually have a double feature for you. We're going back to back with two beers. We're going to try and do them fast. So hopefully, we get all the information to you, but keep it concise.
Yep.
These are two Pipeworks beers, Neal. We've talked a lot about Pipeworks. We have a whole backlog, so we're getting to it. We're going to be first tackling the Jones Dog, which is a milk stout with cocoa nibs. And then second will be a Close Encounter, which is a hoppy double stout. So two different types of stouts, and we're going to try and see, we're going to try and compare and contrast. So, Neal, tell us about the milk stout.
Jones Dog pays homage to our very own brew dog, Jonas. Our chocolate lab has been with us since the birth of Pipeworks, and so we honor him with his chocolate milk stout.
There you go.
Brewed with cocoa nibs and lactose milk sugar, we hope you'll find this brew as smooth and chocolatey as the Jones Dog himself.
So, milk stouts, lactose, right? The cocoa nibs is, I actually just brewed a chocolate, as I call it, a chocolate milk stout, but it's a milk stout with cocoa nibs.
Yep.
And so, they're like the little kernel things, and you pour them in, and you get a very strong chocolatey taste out of them just by letting them sit in the beer, letting them almost steep in the already fermented beer is what I did. So
right.
I don't know when in the brew process they added them, but depends on how long you let them sit. They definitely get a very chocolatey flavor.
And I think we're about to experience that chocolatey flavor now.
Yeah. Did you mention? Sorry, really quick. Did you mention how alcoholic this is?
6.5%.
So. We're not expecting an alcoholic flavor. I should, you can get to popping it now, though. But not expecting the alcoholic flavor, but we'll keep it in mind.
This is a dark pour.
All right, Neal. Cheers.
Completely black.
Very opaque, kind of what we expect of a stout of this nature. You're not looking for an IPA or pale ale color or any of that. So very opaque, very standard. I mean, you poured mine a little bit more straight up, and I have a beautiful stouty head on that bad boy.
I can smell all of the lactose. I can smell the milk. I can smell the chocolate, and it's a lot stronger than the last one we reviewed with the chili.
Right.
That one didn't have a lot of the chocolate smell to it, and this is powerful.
You get the lactose sugars. You definitely get the cocoa, and if you kind of hang around just long enough, you get a trail end of the chocolatey malt. Just the darker malts, caramel. No, not caramel. Maybe caramel.
No, it's pretty caramely.
But yeah, you get those caramely, chocolatey malts just for them being the dark roasted type.
That's a completely different taste than I was expecting.
Yeah. So,
amazingly, I don't get any of the aroma in the flavor.
So it is a little sweet, but it's not lactosey sweet.
It's almost like beery sweet.
Yeah. Which is a more general. When we say beery sweet, that would be a more general malty sweetness, no.
I actually don't mean the maltiness of it. I mean, the carbonation almost has a flavor to it that just tastes like beer.
It's pretty heavily carbonated, I would say, for a stout. I feel like usually stouts, you want a little bit less carbonation. So I actually do. A second sip, I did recognize the lactose sweetness, and it was on the trail end, at the very end, right before it was going down my throat.
Maybe just a little bit. Yeah. I get very little lactose out of this at all. It's not a creamy stout, despite the fact that it is a milk stout, and it does have that added chocolatey, the cocoa nib bonus.
So you get, I kind of get a sharp chocolatey taste on the beginning of my tongue.
Yep.
The middle of the tongue gives me a lot of the malt flavors you'd normally associate with a drier stout, just a stout in general. And then at the very trail end is where I get the lactose.
I don't get anything in the middle of my tongue. I don't get any of the maltiness. I don't get any of the lactose.
So you just get the chocolate?
A little bit at the end. In general, it feels like I'm drinking an amber ale. It's not heavy to me at all.
Well,
it's got the lightness of that, but it's also got the flavor.
I wouldn't say it's quite as light as what we'd normally expect from a pale or amber ale, but and I definitely get a lot of. Well, no, you're right. I don't get a lot. I do get some of the malt sweetness in the middle that you normally expect. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a good compromise though, because in the, you know what? Well, actually, this kind of gets into my rating. So do you just want to jump right into the rating of this one?
Sure.
So I'm actually going to give it a thumbs up. I really like it. I feel like the Nitro Milk Stout that we reviewed first had much more of a milky lactosey taste, right?
Yes.
This is a better compromise where the milk lactose isn't as prevalent, but I can tell that, you get a little bit at the end, but I can tell that it's toning down a lot of the bitterness of the chocolate and the bitterness of the hop or whatever hop they use, or the other malts. And so it's kind of a much more fluid taste for me. And, well, nothing is as prevalent as the individual ingredients seemingly would imply. I think it's a very, very drinkable stout, and I would never hesitate to drink this.
I'm going to go right middle of the road just because it's a little bit different than advertised based out of the smell of it. I don't feel like I'm drinking a milk stout at all. I feel like I'm drinking an ale. It's a good tasting ale, but it's not what I was expecting. It's not what I would grow to hope out of this beer.
Okay.
I would never hesitate if it was handed to me at a party. I'm not going to go out of my way to find this.
Okay. So Jones Dog by Pipeworks, their like third or fourth beer that they released, milk stout with cocoa nibs, thumbs up and an in the middle of the road. So that overall pretty good beer, but maybe we're looking for a little bit more, bit more ambitious. All right. You ready for version 2, Neal?
Absolutely.
So like we said, Close Encounter is a hoppy double stout. And let's get right into it.
Close Encounter is a bold venture into depths unknown. The best of both worlds coexist between a rich roasted malt character and an aggressive hop presence that will probe your taste buds like nothing you have experienced before. Don't fear the unknown, embrace it. You never know who or what you may encounter.
I love the probe your taste buds. That's kind of amazing.
So it's a nice hoppy double stout. It is 8.5% by volume compared to Jones Dog, which was 6.5.
Yeah. So I'm not, like I said previously, I'm not a big stout person. So I don't like a double stout obviously implies it's going to be more alcoholic. I have no idea what a hoppy stout's like.
I'm excited to find out.
It'll be really interesting to compare them. And I think we just dive right in, Neal.
Yep.
All right, Neal. So this one, oh my God.
Hop City.
You're getting IPA
really
smell of hops out of this. Wow, I was just about to comment on the color and it was whoa. That is very unusual. I mean, we should have expected it for hoppy stout, but that is not usual.
It smells like a hop store. And
this is way darker.
It's even darker than the Jones Dog, and I called that black.
Yeah.
This is even darker black.
Completely opaque. Not as much head. I mean, you poured a little light, but still, neither of us got any head at all.
And I was trying to put some in there at the end, and it just didn't take.
All I smell is hops.
Damn, it is a hop flavor fest.
Interesting. So, we both basically had the same reaction.
Yeah. The aroma is a lot more powerful than the actual taste, but the taste is still very hoppy. As advertised.
It's really, I mean, first of all, I don't get alcohol.
I get a hint at the end. Not right away. The aroma of the hops is cut very nicely right when I take the first sip. I do get a hint of alcohol at the end.
I'm same boat, getting a little bit of alcohol at the end. What is intriguing to me is how it starts off so malty.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's the sweet taste buds are at the front of your mouth, right?
I don't know.
And the bitter is at the back, I think. And so that would make sense
right.
because what I'm getting is I'm getting stout maltiness front to middle of my tongue. First 2/3 of my sip is stout maltiness, and then the back is just boom, hops. Punch you in the face. Wow. But it's not, it's not bad, overwhelming hops at all.
No.
In fact, I think even if you're mostly a stout person, you're not so much a hop person, this is a really interesting take and a really different take, right?
It's a nice hybrid.
Yeah.
If you were a stout drinker and wanted to get into something more hoppy, it's enough of a stout that you'd be able to make that transition pretty well. Vice versa, if you were going from an IPA to a stout, it would also be a nice transition because it's a little bit less hoppy than an IPA, but still a big punch in the mouth with hops.
You know, it's funny because the more I drink of it, the hops start to overpower the maltiness of the stout. So it's like the first, I don't know, couple sips, especially when there's talking and breaks in between, you get the more distinction between the two. But the more you sip it straight up, the more I get hops just everywhere. Like, they weren't joking when they said this is a hopped beer.
I agree with that. I taste them on pretty much every side of my mouth. Tongue, and I'm even getting like kind of that jaw sideness. It's hitting it with hops there.
Yeah. And the reason why I can tell it's a more alcoholic beer now, especially a couple sips in, where the hops are overwhelming, you know, especially even in an alcoholic flavor, is you kind of get that collection in your back of your throat that is reminiscent of, well, alcoholic beers, but I mean, like for me, mostly double IPAs, and those are always extremely alcoholic, and you get that collection in the back of your throat. That
I have it too.
Yeah, so I'm getting a lot of that. Hopefully, it's not the fact that we've pounded 2 bombers of beer, but
no, we were mostly sober before that.
Mostly. Yeah, we're only drinking a Ninja vs. Unicorn before that. All right, so you think you're ready to rate this one, Neal?
Yep.
You want to go first this time?
Yeah. Once again, I'm going to go middle of the road. It's got a great aroma. It's a great punch, but it is incredibly hoppy. Mm-hmm. And I think this is taking me to a level of hops that I'm not used to, particularly when it's mixed with that stoutiness of the beer itself. So I like stouts. I like hoppy beers, as I can say that now.
Mm-hmm.
The mixture of the two of them is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
It's very good, but this isn't something that I could drink more than one of, especially in a bomber form.
Yeah. So I'm also going to go middle of the road. Basically, Neal just said it all. I mean, there's not much I can repeat or, you know, say that, you know, isn't repeating you. What I can say is that while drinking this, I'm thinking that we need to have like a periodical episode, or is that the word I meant? Anyway, we need to have a repeating episode every, you know, so many brew reviews. Sorry, new name. Brew reviews, and where we discuss our favorite breweries about how they take chances and make really cool beers.
Yeah.
So while I'm giving this a middle of the road, which is like I would never argue about someone giving this to me to drink, but I'm not going to go out and buy it. I don't regret trying this beer at all,
no,
and I would recommend that everyone tries it.
It's a nice experiment. I think it turned out well. Like,
yeah.
It's a great flavor. It's not sharp. It's not, you know, it's not a bad taste by any means. It's
a good beer for what it is. We just don't prefer the actual taste.
But there's not a whole lot else you're going to get from an 8.5% alcohol beer. That's high.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching the 8th episode of the Brew Review.
Double feature time.
I think actually pretty soon we're going to have another multi-feature brew review. We just have such a backlog because I haven't... I'm not supposed to be drinking this
Eddie's fridge is so full.
So many beers. Anyway, so yeah. Thank you for watching. Please leave YouTube comments on our site. Check out our website, troughnetwork.com. Sorry, hiccups. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love for you to check out our other content. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.